Draco is going to wake up before we get started. Then we're really in trouble.
As a segue, I could ask you a question about Kedusha.
You could ask me a question about Kedusha. Okay, you're making an assumption there. But yes, go ahead. You can ask a question.
When the Hazan does the first part, when the congregation does the first part, and then you do the Kadosh, 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 who should be saying that first, the congregation or the Hazan?
Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh part?
Each part should be said first by the congregation.
Each part always
Of Kedusha.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. All right. Small crowd. But yeah, I think we're going to take off for next week. I think why? Because of Thanksgiving weekend. I think my wife's plan is for us to go somewhere on Sunday because I have to be back here for Mincha. So we have to leave early if we want to go somewhere and actually have some time there. So I don't know where we're going, but I think the plan is to go somewhere. So since I officially have the weekend off because of Thanksgiving, I'm going to follow my wife's advice and take off. Yeah.
It's not a, I think, it's a, I will.
I think that's what she wants.
You will follow her advice.
Regardless of what it is, yes, that is for sure. Okay. All right, let's get started. Oh, we lost Stephen already. Wow. All right. Okay, so we are up to Parak Yud Gimel, chapter 13. Is that correct? Anybody want to corroborate? No? Okay, fine. Then we'll just start there. Okay. All right, page 51. Any comments on that? No? Nothing. Okay. All right, well, in that case, here we go. The Nefesh Hachaim says as follows. V'chein be'inyan ha'his'ayrus shalamala edei b'chinas ha'dibur. So, too, do we have all of the influences and the workings of the upper worlds being connected to speech. So until now, we've only been talking about action. We're now moving into the next realm, which is that of speech. Amar Amos Hanavi, Alav Hashem, and Amos, the prophet, says, Ki hina yaitzer harim ubayri ruach. For he has fashioned mountains and created the wind. Umagid la'adam ma'asechai, and he tells man what he spoke. So what does this mean? That means that there is some sort of connection between the speech of man and the creation of the mountains and the wind and all of that. So Ki Amar B'Zayar, as the Zayar says in many places, Shaloshin Haggadah Shayach Harazah Demilsa. The concept of Magid, which is a way of telling, that term refers to the secret behind something, the depth of something. So, for example, when we talk at the Seder, when we talk about the Exodus from Egypt, we don't simply say the story. We have to get into the depth of it. We have to talk about what went on behind the scenes. We need to talk about the bigger pictures. We need to talk about the details. And Kol HaMarbe, the more a person delves into it and discusses it, that's the more praiseworthy such a person is, because the concept isn't simply saying the words. The concept is getting to the depth. So when it says in Amos that Hashem will be Magid, He will tell us about our words, that means He's not just telling us the words that we said, He's not simply recounting to us that which we had done, rather He is telling us the depth of the effect of those words. So, in doing so, the prophet Amos says, "Hizir kana as Adam." Here, the Navi is warning mankind that we are now here in this low and physical world. That we don't recognize, we don't see, we don't understand the building or the destroying, chas v'shalom, that goes on in the upper world, mikol dibur v'dibur shalai, from every single word that we speak. And it's possible for a person to think, Loimar, as follows: what significance is there to a word, to a small utterance, saying something light-hearted, something small? Why would that do anything to anyone, anywhere? It's just a little word. It's a big deal. But you should know with certainty that every single word and small talk that a person makes, of every single word that comes from his lips, loy is avid, is not lost. Is not in vain. Every single word has results, has consequence, has an effect, has implications. As the Zohar says, even the breath of the mouth, meaning speech, has its place. Hashem will do with each word whatever He's going to do with it. And even a single word, even a light word, it's not for nothing, it's not empty. Every single word goes in its proper place. So every single thing that we say goes to a place up in those upper realms and does whatever it's going to do. So we should never think that talk is cheap. We should never think that the words that we say don't really matter. And I don't think this is even related to somebody else hearing what we say. Even if we're simply mumbling under our breaths or we're at home talking to our pillows, it doesn't matter. When you talk, those words have profound effect. They're not simply disappeared once they're said. They're still there. Okay. And then he brings a couple more zayars which basically say the same thing. We don't need to go through all those. Okay. Because everything that a person says will do something, will accomplish in the upper realms. And it will arouse the powers on high. When you're dealing with a good word, that will add power to the powers of holiness. As it says in Yeshaya, I will place my word in your mouth, referring to the Torah, that Hashem will allow us to have the Torah and speak of it. And when we do so, we're going to be planting the heavens, meaning we're going to be accomplishing up there in the heavens. Okay, and we'll continue here with the Zayar. Uva Zayar in Parshas Emor, it says, the Leslach Milo Milo, there isn't a single word Uman that doesn't have its place. Uman the Apik Milo Kadishim Pume, and someone who says a word of holiness from his mouth, Milo Da'iraisa, a word of the Torah, is Avid Mine Kala, a sound, a noise, a voice comes from this. V'salik La'ila, and that ascends on high. V'is'aru Kedoshei Malka Ilah, and that arouses the holy ones or holiness around Hashem. Umis'atram Bereshe, and these words and the holiness that has been activated through those words crowns Hashem, so to speak, becomes part of His crown. Ukedein Eshtakach Advasa Le'elo V'sata. Ishtakach, I'm sorry. And then there is tremendous joy in the upper and lower realms from this adding to the crown of Hashem through the words of the Torah that a person says. And then he brings other sources where he says, you can look in other places, that the words of Torah that are said affect all the different worlds, and there's tremendous rejoicing when words of Torah ascend on high, and all of the different worlds are happy through this effect of the words of the Torah that are said down here. And he says this is said in many places. Okay, and then he says, and in many places throughout the Tikkun Zayar, it says, Hashem called Dibur v'Kol v'Hevel da'iraisa, every I don't know what all these different terms refer to, but they are every word, every sound, and every breath of Torah. Again, I don't know what that all refers to. Or of prayer. Nivra'in kama malachim kedoshim. Creates multiple holy malachim.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What are those three words that you just read that in Hebrew, words, breath, and sound? How do you say them in Hebrew?
Dibur is speech. Kol is sound or voice. And hevel is breath.
And what is the word for word?
Dibur. Well, mila is also a word. A dibur is a speech.
What's kula?
Kol.
It makes
Kol is
me
either a
think-
sound or a noise or a voice.
And kala or kola?
It
Kol.
makes me think of Rabbi.
1 second. Kol.
Okay.
Yes.
Word.
No. Kol is a sound or a voice. Like the kol shofar, the sound of the shofar.
Because you were saying when you first started reading kala several times, but maybe I just...
Kala means light,
Light.
not related. Yeah, that's a different word. Yes.
I was going to say, it makes me think of, I don't remember which of the Rebbes said it, Kol Neshima v'Neshima Tehalaluka, like the play on words. Kol Neshama Tehalaluka, Kol Neshima v'Neshima. That seems to
Oh,
be
kol
what he said
neshima
here
neshima.
also.
Yeah, it's a Gemara.
Okay.
Yeah, that's neshima is a breath. That every breath that I take is a praise to Hashem. Yes, inherently. Yeah. Yes.
Does he go through the relationship between the words Neshima and Neshama?
Does he talk about the relationship between neshima and neshama? I don't know. He might. Stick around. Yes.
In the book, at the very bottom of 51, it goes, every word a man utters rises upward, splitting heavens to reach its destined place.
Where are you?
Bottom of 51, the last word.
Okay. Yes.
Sorry, the beginning of 50.
Got it. Yes.
It says splitting heavens to reach its destined place.
Yep.
Is there more explanation we're going to get about what that means? Its destined place?
I don't know, but based on the context, what it means is just like we explain when it comes to all the mitzvahs, that each one affects and is affected by certain parts of the makeup of all the worlds, and that the worlds are made up of 613 parts, and each mitzvah is correlated to one of those parts, and the human body is also made up of 613 parts, with each mitzvah correlating to one, and that the universes are arranged like the body, and therefore all the different mitzvahs correspond to different elements of existence. So the words also are presumably also going to, each word is going to affect whatever specific thing it's able to affect.
So like in a rare circumstance when I would say something stupid,
Completely theoretical,
very rare, completely theoretical, right?
hypothetically
That
speaking.
goes to the place of stupid things, or
You know, for some people that's considered a good thing. For some people that's considered a good thing. Yeah, I can't say. I'm not aware of the workings of exactly how that's judged, but yes, just like every mitzvah has effects in certain aspects of existence, so to every word will have its effect in certain
That
aspects.
brings a new meaning to Yoshi Bashamayim Yitzchak.
Oh yeah. Okay.
inside joke.
Yes, it was.
You're not gonna
We don't have time. We don't have time for that. After class. Okay. All right. Let's stay on track here. So, this,
Someone just told me about a Rebbe who keeps track of all his students' quotable quotes.
quotable quotes. Yeah, I kept a notebook. One of my chavrusas had always had some interesting comments. I kept a notebook of them. I sent him a photocopy of it a couple of years ago. Got a good laugh. Yeah, funny guy. Okay, so, all right. So that's the concept when it comes to doing the good on the good side of a hepach, and on the flip side, bedibur asher loy tov chas v'shalom, when it comes to someone who says something which isn't good chas v'shalom, who baina rekiim, he is building these. I don't know how would they translate rekiim.
barriers,
Firmament?
like firmaments, like
Firmaments,
like
yeah. Firmament's like a funny word because no one actually knows what it means. All right,
Like a
whatever.
divider.
Creating atmospheres, va'elamais, and worlds shall shav of nothingness. You're building words. You're building worlds that are waste. They're nothing, and it actually goes l'samach memcha rachman al. It goes to the dark side. It goes to the powers of tumah that exist, and the words that we say that are not good. And just like on the good side, there's innumerable number of good words that can be said. There's also an innumerable number of bad words that can be said. You could say something at the wrong time or in the wrong place, and that's also bad, right? If somebody's talking during davening, even if they're talking good words, but that's ultimately a bad thing, right? So wherever it's going to affect on the good side, it's going to do the opposite on the bad side. So saying words that are bad, doesn't mean the words themselves are bad, but it's words that shouldn't be said at that time and place. It's going to give power to the dark side. It's going to give power to the world of tumah. And it can cause the destruction of the worlds. Sidrei HaMarkava HaKadoshah, and even to the arrangement of Hashem's chariot. Hanoigin l'sherish hadibur, which are related to the root of speech. So, Samach Mem is Samal. Yeah. Samal, all right. So, briefly, without getting into... I'm sorry? Samach Mem is Samal, yeah. So, many would not write the word Samal or even say it. Samal is a name for the entity which carries wears many hats. It is the Yetzer Hara, which is the force that convinces us to do things wrong. It is the Malach HaMavis, it is the angel of death, the source of Tumah. It is also the guardian angel of Edom, of Esav and his nation. And it is also the Satan. It is the prosecutor on high. So that is all part of the same system. It's, again, not to be understood literally, because these are spiritual matters we're talking about here, but it's called one thing. It's one malach that does all these different things. So again, don't try to picture it as in like this red thing without the halo and holding the pitchfork, and it's doing all these different things. It's a power. It's an existence that's not to be understood in a physical sense. But it's all one and the same. It's all connected. It's all the same source where the tumah of the world, the sin of the world, all of the prosecution, death, a lack of kedusha, all that is all connected. It's all one thing. So whenever a person does something wrong, they are feeding that. They're feeding that side of the universe, and that's obviously very, very bad. I'll just leave it at that. Okay, but he does point out over here that these things all have their sources in the highest places. Just like we understand when it comes to the mitzvahs and things that they're sourced at their root in Hashem himself, at the very highest source, so too when it comes to the negative. Those things are also rooted at the very highest places. They come from Hashem directly. So depending on the severity of the things that we say, they can be sourced very high up. Now, the higher they are, the more difficult it is for us to access them and affect them. So someone has to say something really bad to get to the highest source. But there are things that are really bad. Talking during the Chazan's repetition is considered really bad. Lashon Hara is considered really bad. Blaspheming, cursing Hashem, things like that. These are words of an evil of the highest order, and these words can have their effects in the highest places. Okay. Okay, now I don't know if he has this next. Let's see, does he have the Zohar here? He does, okay. All right, so let's keep reading over here. So Ayin Zayar, Parashat Tzav Lamed Aleph, it says, there's nothing good or bad that happens that doesn't have its effect in the upper worlds. And woe is to us here on the world, that we see and we don't realize what we're seeing, we don't understand. Ki ein lecha dibur she'en lemakam. There is no word that doesn't have its place where it affects. Ki oif hashemayim yoylech esakol. The birds of the heavens take the voices. What does this mean? There are many thousands of winged creatures that attach themselves to the words that we say. And they bring it up to the one who judges, and they judge the words, or he judges the words. Whether it's for good or for bad. There isn't a single word that doesn't have its place. There are many destructive malachim that are created and that attach themselves to these words that we say that are bad words. Until they go up and they bring with them some of the depths, referring to Gehenna. And you don't realize, but these things are affecting the person who said it. And woe is to the person who said a word like that and is going to arouse all of this danger and tumah and bad about himself. Okay. I'm just skipping around here because he quotes lots and lots of Zohar here, so I'm kind of skipping through. V'amru, another thing that's said in the Gemara is Gadol Aymer b'piv min ha'isa ma'isa. More effective, more powerful is the one, who says than the one who does. Meaning, words can be more effective in the upper realms than actions can be. They're sourced in higher places. The Amruzal and the Chamim also said in Sanhedrin, "Call machlif b'diburai someone who switches his words, meaning he doesn't stick to what he says, is like serving idolatry." So we're talking about some of the highest level problems coming through the speech that we have that is wrong. This is what it says in Amos and Magid Adam Masechai. Like we started off the chapter with, that Hashem will be Magid, he will explain, he will tell the depth of what we have said. This means, Shebe'ez Amoid Ha'adam Loses Din V'cheshbon L'fanei Yisbarach, when the time comes for a person to stand in judgment before Hashem, Az Hu Yisbarach Magid Lo Yasayid, then Hashem will tell him the secret, which is Raza Demilsa, the hidden part of the words that he has said, Mashagaram Seichai Lamala, that which his words caused on high, by Lamis Al Yanim and all the upper worlds, Kamashon Zbar El, as we explained earlier, Lashon Haggadah, Pirusha Raza Demilsa, the concept of being Magid, of telling, refers to the depth and the secret of the matter.
Is it really, is it
Little
really
daunting?
a secret, though? Because it's what you've said all your life.
Yes, but what you've accomplished with what you said is, we have no idea.
Right, the consequences.
Yeah, the amount of building and destroying that we've done through our words is going to be, it's going to be jarring, I think, for all of us. We don't realize, talk is cheap. We all just kind of say things just because, we don't attribute nearly as much value to speech as we do to action. We say that stop talking and start doing. We view the world as a world of action, and that's what matters, is the things that we actually do. But the reality is that that's not always the case. In many ways, speech can be much more powerful than action can.
But isn't it often the way something is said more than the actual words?
Is the way it's said a factor? Of course. Of course the way something is said is a factor. Absolutely.
I mean, you could even say
Yeah,
the
right?
same words,
Just a second.
but with a different tone.
Yes, the same words can be, with a different tone, can be altered entirely at a different time, in a different place, to a different person. I mean, yeah, everything affects it, for sure.
My mother used to say, "Don't look at me with that tone of voice."
Yes, Gula.
So two things. Firstly, this also obviously applies to not just that, but to Neville Pell, like
Vulgar
coarse
speech, yes.
Yeah. And then the second thing is, having lived in Israel now for 7 years, we really see it here just how much speech really what the media says, what the politicians, we really see it on a day-to-day basis, literally how much speech can tear this country apart.
Oh, you think it's just in Israel?
The whole world.
No, but we feel it here differently.
Listen, I'm not here to judge, but I will tell you, I think everybody in America will tell you that the media and the politics are certainly very pervasive, no doubt. But yeah, it is. But we're not even talking about that. We're not even talking about here in this world. We're talking about in the other worlds. We're talking about in realms that we don't even see and experience until after. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, these are major concepts. So it's very important to weigh your words. Weigh your words. It's not the kind of thing that you should use flippantly. And the Vilna Gaon says that there is a separate mitzvah for every word of Torah that we say. So he cautions against just learning with your eyes. So it's important to say each word, because the value of each word, you don't realize what it accomplishes. Just saying the word. Now, yes, thought is even higher than that, for sure. But, and we'll get there, I assume that's what's going to be next. Yeah, that'll be next, the next chapter. But the level of words is higher than the level of actions in many regards. And he'll develop this more as we go on. But the value that we attribute to words is significantly lower than what it actually is. And that's his point here. We have to realize that there's going to be this secret that Hashem is going to reveal to us after 120. He's going to show us just how impactful our words were. Not just in this world, but in all the other worlds. And we're going to be shocked. It's going to be unexpected. Even after this class, it'll still be unexpected when we see the extent of what our words accomplish, both in the positive and the negative. So it's very crucial that we learn what speech is proper, which speech is not proper. If you're not sure, you're always better off not saying something, and ask. If you're not sure about something, ask. But you have to constantly be involved in improving your method of speech. I know I have a friend who's in our Daf Yomi Chabura, a bunch older than us, and he once his business was given very short notice. They were about to have an audit from federal whatever. Yeah, and he was not ready at all. His business was not ready for an audit, not even close. And it's a large business that he works for. Medical supply company, massive company. And he went to his rabbi and he asked him what to do. And he said, do you learn Chavetz Chaim? And he said, I do. He said, okay, leave your Sefer Chavetz Chaim on your desk and everything will be fine. And that's exactly what happened. And they passed the audit. And he still to this day does not know how. But he learns Chavetz Chaim every day. When my Yeshaya got sick, the first thing I did, I started committing to learn Chavetz Chaim every day, which I have, every day for the last 10 years. Learn Chavetz Chaim, because it keeps you in the mindset of your speech is valuable. Every word is impactful, and you don't even realize what it's going to do. And if you're constantly, or I should say consistently is a better word, if you're consistently trying to improve the value of your speech, you'll find that you're more cognizant of it, because every day it's on your head, I got to do better, I got to do better, I got to do better, and this is right, this is wrong, I shouldn't do this, I should do that. And this way, it'll become a way of life, where you're constantly looking to improve your speech. And when you do that, you'll find that a lot of the compromising situations that you used to find yourself in are no longer showing up, because you're subconsciously avoiding conversations with certain people, you're subconsciously being able to hold yourself back when you weren't previously able to, without even realizing it, and it builds a proper way of life. And it's critical. It really is important. And it's not just about that. It's not just about Lashon Hara. There's all sorts of speech. There's hurtful speech. There's talking at the wrong times, davening and things like that. There's saying things to the wrong people that can have positive or negative effects. And there's all the good speech that we need to do more of. How many opportunities do we have on a daily basis to lift somebody up by saying something to them, and we don't? You'd be shocked. You'd be shocked how many stories there are out there where somebody just said good morning to somebody and they didn't commit suicide. Like, you don't realize, but the words can be extremely impactful on people in this world, and certainly, as we were learning, in the other worlds as well. So it's the kind of thing we should always remain cognizant of, always try to grow in, pick something that you're going to learn daily and try to improve that speech. It could be learning about davening. What greater speech is there than words of davening? Well, that's another part of speech we can all improve on. So these are things that we should keep in mind and try very hard to improve on as we go through life. All right, we're going to stop here. The next chapter is kind of its own topic by itself, where we're going to get into the concept of thought and where that stands in this whole hierarchy of events. And again, we'll be off next week, but we will continue Nefesh Hachaim in 2 weeks. Next week is Thanksgiving weekend, so I'm going to be busy digesting. All right, have a good one.